Wow.
Dying Light 2 is a game about tanning beds.
I'm a very pale person. I'm very pale.
It's about a fresh pair of shoes.
They were my last pair of intact shoes. Without them, I'm...
It's not about bullets or guns, but instead it's about hang gliders and family. And also, it's about fascism. But mainly, at its core, it's about jumping off of buildings and falling to your death.
The way he leaps off of rooftops and flips backwards is just full of the exaggerated swagger of a...
Sure, there's zombies, and sure, there's also murder cannibals, but the biggest threat you'll face is your poor self-control.
Oh my god, I almost just died. Oh, I did die, son of a...
Now, I'm the perfect person to review Dying Light 2, because I didn't actually play Dying Light 1. With that being said, I am the worst person to review Dying Light 2, because I didn't play Dying Light 1. Overall, I had a great deal of fun with this game, and I was truly excited to be playing a game at launch that wasn't riddled with bugs and issues like most AAA games are these days. At least when playing solo, because right now the co-op could use a little work.
I think the game's bugged.
But in this video, I'm going to talk about the mechanics of the game, the things I like, and the things I kinda hated. And we'll wrap all that up by spoiling the entire story, for those of you who don't want to actually play the game, but want the full Dying Light 2 experience. I'm here for you. And if you want to play the game, don't worry, I will let you know before I spoil anything, alright? I'm not a dick, and all that stuff comes at the end. Okay, so where to begin?
Parkour!
The best place to start this video off is by talking about the game's parkour system. Because a lot of games have combat and a lot of games have zombie, but not many games have free running. Parkour is the best way to kill yourself in this game, hands down. I probably just suck at it, but 9 out of 10 times I died, it wasn't because of zombies or the murder cannibals littering the streets, but instead because I missed a jump, panicked, and didn't pull my paraglider in time.
Oh, damn it, I did it again.
Meaning that I ended up kissing concrete more than actually successfully paragliding. However, when the parkour gods are in your favor, everything can flow in a very satisfying way. Dipping, ducking, diving, dodging, giving the city streets a full load of all the D's that you can slam into it. All that shit feels as smooth as butter, until it doesn't. And you accidentally wall run on the side of a building straight to an early death. For the 48th goddamn time in a row. There's a stamina bar that controls how long you can hold on. It's a bit frustrating at first, but later in the game I stopped thinking about it, as I had like 4 times the stamina I did at the beginning. Overall, parkour is pretty cool. It feels like Assassin's Creed, but quicker and first person. Now, I'm not always the best at it, but that seems more like a personal problem of mine. Good job, parkour. I love to hate it. Now, combat is an undoubtedly important aspect of this game, which is great because it all can be simplified into one move, the drop kick. Literally, any combat situation you're in can be solved by drop kicking. Are you fighting on a high roof? Perfect. Drop kick them off the roof. Are you fighting in an underground tunnel? Great. Drop kick them into a corner and then keep doing that over and over again. Are you fighting in the streets? Awesome. Just climb on top of a truck and drop kick. Just keep drop kicking. God damn it. Don't stop drop kicking. Just drop kick the whole game. It's the best. The reason drop kicking works so well is because the ragdoll in this game is very light. So every time you kick someone, they get sent flying as opposed to just falling over like in real life. Once I unlocked drop kick, it became my exclusive weapon for the rest of the game. Outside of sick jump kicks, we also have melee and ranged combat. Melee is fun and has a decent challenge to it, but I personally found it hard to get into a good flow, like I can in other games, such as Sea of Thieves. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. That game's combat sucks. But yeah, a lot of my fights where I didn't just drop kick the whole time ended with me getting absolutely clotheslined by every opponent I faced. But again, I don't think the system is bad. This is just my problem. I spent too much time drop kicking, so I never really got good at the other combat styles. Now I did win most of my fights on my first attempt.
You've got no one to lean on.
But not without being beaten to an inch of my life. And even though I sucked at it, everyone in the story kept telling me how great of a fighter I was. So it was kind of weird to hear about how good I am at fighting after getting the shit beaten out of me for 15 minutes straight.
Where did you learn to fight like that?
I tried to fight a real boxer, and he got scared. He didn't want to do it.
Alright, let's talk about upgrades. Yeah, let's talk about those. So the basic way to level your character up is with inhibitors that I assume you inject anally. It takes 3 inhibitors to increase either your stamina or your health. Always go stamina, health. I'll smoke a pack of cigarettes and jump off a building.
I'm on my 11th goddamn cigarette. I'm gonna get exactly what I deserve.
Really living life to the fullest, huh? No, but stamina is more important because even though I'm pretty much Spider-Man, leaping and diving around the city, my character gets tired while climbing a ladder. So trust me, you'll need stamina more than health. But the big thing is that upgrading either of these is going to increase the amount of time that you can spend without sunlight or UV light, which is crucial when you're doing stuff at night because at first you only get like 4 minutes, which is why I said the game was about tanning beds in the first line of this video, if that didn't make sense right away. But yeah, we'll talk about UV light soon because it is a pretty important part of this game. Outside of health and stamina, you can also upgrade your combat and parkour trees. The first thing that you should work for in these skill trees is drop kick. Of course it's drop kick. Are you stupid? Were you not watching the video? It's always been drop kick. Actually, all this other shit is needless. Pick whatever you want, it doesn't matter. As long as you get drop kick, you're gonna beat the game. But if you can't beat the game, then just go get some friends and it'll be super easy.
I got this one. I'll take him out silently.
You can't when they're sleeping.
That was like the least silent kill I've ever seen.
You're not.
And although it was way more fun playing with friends, it kinda takes the challenge out of it. With 3 of us playing, the final boss fight was nearly a one-shot fight. Now, that doesn't mean co-op sucks, because it's great. At least for me, it was pretty great. Most of the time, I just dicked around while my friend Duffy killed everything and took care of the missions for us. Also, quick side note, Duffy is actually the guy at the end of like all my videos saying, "Wow, what a great video."
Wow, what a great video.
Yeah, that's him. You can buy pants. I put his face on a pair of sweatpants that you can buy if you want. We haven't sold 1 pair yet. However, co-op wasn't perfect.
I can't hit that zombie.
Me neither.
You see, the game runs smooth when playing solo, but when you're in co-op, the bugs come out. We had floating heads. We had ghost enemies that only one of us could see.
He's in between me and Z-Tom, right in the middle. You're not doing any damage? No. Oh, shit!
One mission, we straight up weren't able to loot anything. This was frustrating, but wasn't game-breaking overall because all these issues were fixed by just restarting the game and rejoining up. So yeah, co-op was a good time. I give it a 3 out of 10. 1 being the highest. So before I talk shit about this game, I do want to mention all the things that I liked about it. The bees are back. I am a huge honeybee advocate. So it's nice to see beehives everywhere. Literally, dude, beehives are like all over the place. They're like an important crafting method. Ah, I didn't mention crafting. We'll do that later too. Now, I know I just said that there were a ton of bugs in co-op, but I think the thing I liked the most about this game was the stability, in single player at least. It's been so long since I played a AAA game that was ready to go at launch and not riddled with bullshit. The only bugs in this game were the bees. That was funny, Trip. Good job. So back to the UV light. At the beginning of the game, you get infected with the zombie virus, and this persists for the whole game. Basically, that means that if you're not in sunlight, you will have a certain amount of time to get to UV light.
Absolutely obsessed with tanning.
This makes nighttime feel like scuba diving. At first, it was kind of challenging because you didn't have much time that you could spend in the dark before needing a UV light or the sun to come up. But towards the end of the game, you get like 9 minutes-ish, so you could pretty much run around like Nightman, just stuffing your face with shrooms. The shrooms give you more UV light or whatever. I don't know how it works, but that's just how it works in the game. But yeah, having to manage this UV meter kind of creates an extra sense of urgency in the game that I personally enjoyed. What else? Oh yeah, the background music is pretty cool. I usually turn music in games off, but it was atmospheric and it kind of had a 28 Days Later feel. The graphics were also really good. City looked good, world looked good. Good job graphics. Yeah, whatever, I think that's it. Okay, let's talk some shit now. No specific order here, but what the fuck is this effect? Are those supposed to be fireflies? Or am I just tripping balls? They ripped the lockpick minigame from Bethesda. It's the exact same thing.
Okay, so what we're listening for is a click.
But it's pretty much like the perfect minigame for lockpicking, so I guess it's fine. But now the settlements in this game are big and awful. It's a convoluted mess getting around them, and there's not much to do there, because at best there's only 2 shops at each settlement. So there's just a lot of wasted space. And a lot of wasted space means me spending a couple minutes running down this bullshit long-ass corridor just to get to a trader and sell all the random junk I've been hoarding. Towards the end of the game, it started to feel like every mission was about going somewhere to turn the power on. The formula was simple. Go to hard to reach place, pull lever, hit button, and profit. Sure, there was a couple missions where you had to route cables to turn on the power, and those were pretty cool, but most of the missions were the same thing over and over again. Another thing this game has is split decisions, but I feel like they're not as impactful as we think.
Should I just straight? I'm gonna lie.
Keep lying. Keep lying.
Keep lying.
I felt like only 4 or 5 of these decisions actually affected the game, and most of them are in the final couple missions. It's no Fallout 76, am I right? No, wrong. I meant New Vegas. Whatever. I'm not sure why they did this, but every time a cutscene turns into a fight, you started off by getting punched in the face. I don't know, I guess you're just a badass like that. I got used to this one, but it was kind of annoying how every time you were running, your guy's dumbass little hands would flash on the screen. That one made me mad, don't know why. But the last thing that I hated in this game, more than everything else, and the one thing I actually got tilted about, was that after about an hour, you can't tab out of the game. I mean, you can tab out, you just can't click on anything else other than the game. On console, this isn't an issue. But if you're on PC like me and somebody hits you up in Discord, you have to close the game before you can do anything else on your PC. Maybe this wasn't a problem for everyone, but for me personally, it was misery. Alright, here is your warning. It's that time in the video, and we're gonna go ahead and spoil this entire story. So if you haven't played it and you want to, go watch something else. Go watch one of my videos. My videos are like really good. Alright, let's do this. So you play as Aiden, a pilgrim who is desperately trying to find his sister. I guess in this world, pilgrims are like badass, like mercenary kind of people or whatever.
Aiden, how do you become a pilgrim?
However, I don't really think pilgrims sounds very cool, but everybody respects him for it, so it doesn't matter. The game starts with you running out of a tunnel, where you meet up with a fellow pilgrim who's pretty much Denzel Washington. I thought he'd be a cool companion for the game. Nope, he pieces out almost immediately.
I think it's time we parted ways.
And the next time we see him is in the end credits. So fuck that guy, we'll make new friends. After this, we head to the city in hopes of finding Mia. Mia is Aiden's sister, and pretty much the only thing he cares about. I guess she's like your only family. However, you haven't seen her in like 10 years, and all you have is these like weird memories of her. But nonetheless, this is the only thing Aiden gives a shit about during this whole game. So on the way to the city, we get our first glimpse of the antagonist, Waltz. He's pretty much Wolverine, like without claws. And he was also the doctor that ran experiments on you and Mia as kids. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. You grew up as a test subject, which is why you're like faster, stronger, better. So we hate Waltz because he stole our childhood. So eventually we could go on and survive and prosper in this difficult world. And he also did this while he was trying to help come up with a cure to save humanity. What a piece of shit guy. What a bad guy. Obvious supervillain there, right? The hell. But anyway, you also get infected after being bit. So immediately upon entry to the city, they try and hang you. Until our knight in shining armor, Hakon, arrives and saves the day. Hakon is basically the guy that gets you set up at the beginning of the game and eventually becomes like your homie. Cool guy, love him. Now, the first part of this game is all about settling an issue between the burnt out, dirty survivors.
If you came to find out if I have a boyfriend, I don't.
And the pretty much fascist peacekeepers. Basically, some peacekeeper lieutenant named Lucas got like killed and mutilated. And this guy, Ator, whatever, thinks that the survivors did it. And because Ator controls the subway lines, to get access to downtown, you need to figure out who killed Lucas. So here we are playing Law and Order. And eventually we just kind of pinned it on this dickhead named Barney. I hated this guy. I don't even really know if he did it, but screw him.
What are you doing? Spying on me?
But after we bring him to the peacekeepers, he like escapes and we end up killing him ourselves. Love it. And now that we solved the crime, we get to go downtown. Except right before this, Hakon walks into an arrow. And then he tells you that he was actually the one to kill Lucas, which isn't the worst thing because Barney got killed for that, but I don't care. That guy sucked, right? But yeah, maybe Hakon's not that cool of a guy. I still let him live for some reason. I will regret this later, promise.
I should leave you to die for what you did.
But now that we're headed to the big city, of course, Waltz is going to show up and kill your friends. Oh, he also steals your key that's important. Your GRE key like opens boxes and doors Well, I'm not going to explain it to you. Just know it's an important key. But after this, he just kind of dips out. And shortly after this, we catch up to him and get our important key back. But more importantly, we get to meet Rosario Dawson. Yeehaw, aka Lawan. Now that we're in the big city, it means that we get to do the exact same thing we did in the first part of the game. Spam every NPC we meet with questions about our lost sister. Now, the important characters you meet in the city are Frank, and Frank's just pretty much Lawan's alcoholic father figure. We meet Jack Matt, a guy who has 2 first names and is also the leader of the Peacekeepers. And Juan. I like Juan. He thinks I'm hot, and he kind of looks like an elf.
He is a snack, isn't he, dear? Care to join? More the merrier.
Basically, this part of the game is all about turning on an antenna on like the tallest building in the city. So after a couple missions leading up to this and a very long mission climbing to the top of it,
Where's Bowski? Sorry, boss.
we get to decide who we give the radio tower to. We could either give it to Frank so he can play music and spread hope. Lame, don't care about hope. We can give it to Jack Matt so he can pump military propaganda and try to build his army. I am on the side of military propaganda, that sounds really cool to me. But what sounds even better is that we can give it to Juan, which Juan's option is the exact same thing as Jack Matt's, except we put a tracker on the antenna so we can intercept all of his communications. Basically, we became devious little spies seeing what Jack Matt was up to. Also, I didn't say this before, but I'm pretty sure Jack Matt has tuberculosis.
I'm done, sister.
But now that we got all this shit done, we're pretty much in the end game. And after we set up the antenna, we found out that Lawan and Hakon used to bang. Super crazy plot twist. So at this point, Juan wants us to come save the city or whatever. I just kind of skipped through that dialogue because I didn't care what the he was talking about. Because at this point, we found a doctor who could get us information on our sister. So I was like, I don't care about the city. I don't care about those people. I'm gonna go find my sister. That's the only thing I want to do.
It will kill everything and everyone. You, me, Veronica Ryan.
So I told Juan to go f himself, and we went straight to the database that we've been trying to find this entire game. Because hopefully it has information on my sister. Except,
Search for Mia.
Sorry, Aiden. Records show no patients named Mia.
God!
there's no information here on my sister. And right after that crushing blow, Waltz breaks up the party again. We go into zombie rage mode, and I end up killing the doctor that was nice enough to take me to this database in the first place. Yeah, all the time that this is happening too, missiles are just striking the city, just bombs hitting the city. I forgot why that happened. Something to do with the government, whatever. After this mission, we have to travel across the city, which is now a smoldering mess from all the missiles that hit, in order to talk to the leader of the Renegades. The Renegades are a faction in this game, but you might know them by murder cannibals, because I'd mentioned them a couple times, because you can't side with them, and they just pretty much kill you on sight, so whatever, they're murder cannibals to me, you know? But surprisingly, the leader of the Renegades is like a super reasonable guy. I'm not lying, he's probably like my favorite leader in the whole game. And after some dialogue that I also kind of skipped through, he tells us where X-13 is, which is a top secret military base and likely where Waltz is hiding out. And surprise, surprise, after we get to the base, we find out that Hakon is still alive. And all of a sudden, he's a huge dickhead. After saving his life, he orders my death. I told you I would regret letting him live. Never again. But after more fighting and bullshit, we get another surprise. Holy shit, it's your sister, Mia, Mazda Miata. And it turns out, Waltz is her dad.
Mia is my daughter.
I'm not sure if he's also your dad, or like you and Mia weren't sisters. I mean, he does call you son at one point, but he never explicitly says, you know, like, I am your father, or whatever.
You are my daughter.
So I started feeling like my whole game was a delusion where I thought I had a sister and I was desperately searching for her, but in all reality, we were just childhood friends and I had nothing else in my life going for me. Whatever, the point is if he calls me son, I'm gonna call him dad. This triggers a boss fight, which probably would be difficult with just one person, but since there were 3 of us, was very easy. And after just completely destroying him, we get the last decision we can make in this game. X-13 is the launch site of the missiles that have been destroying the city. So we can either blow up the missiles within X-13, effectively killing you, Mia, Waltz, and everybody at the X-13 base, the whole family dead, or you can prioritize saving Lawan and just letting the missiles fire off, blowing up the whole city, meaning that you get to become your sister's caretaker while everybody in the city like burns to death and you just take up your new role as a hospice worker, which is a tough decision, right? I mean, either we end our sister's suffering and save an entire city full of people, or we kill everyone and live like a mole person in a military base whose sole purpose in life is taking care of his sickly sister. Which one do you think I chose? Yeah, of course I bombed the city. F those people, dude. Now I get to play doctor, which, judging by the end credits, wasn't exactly the happy ending. But oh well, life is pain. Deal with it. If you watched this far and you didn't subscribe, cool, don't. Honestly, I just hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. Oh yeah, I said I'd come back to this. Yeah, there's like a whole crafting system in the game that I hardly used. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna sit here and try to explain it to you for 5 minutes. If you wanna know more about it, just play the damn game. Come on. So you're welcome. Okay, bye. Q Duffy.
Wow, what a great video.